This is the Gen Y Leaders Podcast. Welcome to the Gen Y Leaders Podcast, where we guide millennials to become the next generation of business leaders and entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Eric Huey, and multiple times a month, we bring you interviews from high-performing millennials who are challenging perceptions and changing expectations of our generation. Our mission is to help you overcome fear, take action, and go confidently in the direction of your dreams. It's time to start preparing now, mainly because 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every day, which will create a vacuum of career opportunities that you've been waiting for. Will you be ready? Nick, welcome to the Gen Y Leaders Podcast.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks for taking the time.
Got
Good. Just start off. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Nick Topping. I am the head of marketing and business development at SafetyCulture. So we are a SaaS application that develops a checklisting tool to mobilize your inspections and audits and things like that. So people doing safety quality checks around the world, we have an inspection platform that can do that for them, and then run analytics on the back end to kind of track and trend business data and things like that. So I oversee our marketing team and our business development team here out of the Americas, and then work with our global offices in Australia. I have an office in the UK and then an office in Manila as well.
Yeah, it's been awesome to watch your guys' growth and the local media here and all the funding and just overall growth that you guys had. So congrats on that. It's been exciting to watch.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. It's crazy going from, kind of in the startup company, going in startup mode. And I think now we're kind of in the scale up mode, as you would say, or, your awkward teenager phases.
Right.
Still figuring things out. But yeah, it's been nuts. I think when I started here, it was around 100 or so employees. Now we're over 300 globally.
Wow.
12 in the KC office, and now we're over 60. So it's been a fun ride and been successful so far. So hopefully we can keep that going.
No kidding. And how old's the company? A couple of years?
Yeah, I started in 2014,
Okay.
pretty much. So really it's kind of when our iAuditor, our first application launched.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's really grown at first, or very organically, people downloading the tool in the App Store, word of mouth using it. And now we're, last few years have really been putting some marketing behind it, and then it's getting the sales team together and kind of being able to help reach more customers and grow the business that way as well. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of growth in a short time. So congrats again. Another key question I ask every guest is what's your why? Why SafetyCulture? Why marketing and biz dev?
Yep. Yeah, sure. I guess I've always wanted to make it some sort of an impact. So I started my career in sales, doing inside sales, consulting for a while, moved into outside sales in healthcare. I was actually in healthcare for about 10 years doing sales, and then moved over to the marketing side. So, that was fun, and then got the chance to come to SafetyCulture a couple years ago and really, I think, make a global impact as a startup company. So it's a pretty small company, really small office in Kansas City of only 12 people or so. And we're able to just kind of come in and see the growth and potential. And it's pretty cool. Our products use tons of different ways to promote safety, quality, that sort of thing. But, we've had quite a few customers, tell us personally when we've been in contact and stuff that, our products save lives on a project. So that's pretty cool to see. It's used in a various way of reasons, but to be able to know that, we're impacting the livelihood of individuals with some of the stuff we're doing is pretty cool to see. So.
Yeah, it's very few opportunities that marketers get to be a part of saving lives. So
yeah, right.
Take advantage of that for sure. It's got to be rewarding.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's people out there doing crazy stuff every day, and I'm going into an office, or now we're working from home with all this crazy COVID-19 stuff, but still being able to have that impact and make a difference every day from marketing and sales perspective is pretty cool.
Yeah. So I want to get into today's topic. I've had the opportunity to be in your guys' office here in Kansas City, and you're giving me a tour once, and kind of going through the office and you're like, oh yeah, here's where we have our standing meetings. I was like, what? Standing meetings? So that was the topic I wanted to talk to you about today. Kind of self-explanatory, I guess, to a certain degree, but at a high level, what do your standing up meetings look like, and how do you use them at SafetyCulture?
Yep. Yeah. So we use stand-up meetings a variety of different ways in different departments throughout the team. Essentially, they're what they're called, right? Stand-up meetings. So they're short, sweet, to the point most of the time. So they're 15-minute stand-ups is what we call them. They could be with an individual team, like say the marketing team. They could be with the greater global team, so our teams globally. Could be a project stand-up. So, hey, we have this certain project going on for a certain amount of time, so let's have a 15-minute stand-up on it. And really what they are is a chance to get together, come together quickly, sync on the most important things that we're working on. So, you usually touch on a few different things, what you're focused on, any blockers, recent accomplishments, that sort of thing. And it's a chance to, get together quickly and come out with some quick decisions, things like that. So yeah, they're typically good for the group. And they say the attention span while you're standing is people pay attention more because they don't want to stand up. They'd rather go sit down and get back to their desk or something like that. So
I believe that.
That's good too.
Yeah, it's an awesome concept because I know plenty of us in the corporate sector have been through meetings that are way too long or shouldn't even happened in the first place. So it's awesome that you guys are taking advantage of this. So it sounds like these are company wide, not just reserved for certain departments. What about like size of these meetings? I mean, do you cap it a certain amount? Like, okay, if we're gonna have more than 10 people meeting, we're gonna just like do town hall type thing at the front, big conference room or front of the building.
Yeah. So they're various sizes. So I would say the majority of them are pretty small team wise. 5 to 10 people, a working team, that sort of thing. But we used to actually do stand-ups for the whole company. So there'd be, hey, whole company, 15 minutes. Here's the most important things going on across the business. And you have like it's funny to watch it grow as a business. We had, 75 people in a room at one point. And then at one point we were doing stand-ups with like 150.
Wow.
And now we're all on Zoom meetings doing them too. Right. But it's been pretty crazy. So you can really do them any size. And obviously you want to limit the people talking. So, you've probably heard of, there's like a meeting rule in the past. It's like, if you have more than 2 people, or if you can't feed a room of people with less than 2 pizzas, like you probably don't need to have that many people in the meeting. So stand-ups are a little different. You can have more, you can have less, gives you some more flexibility.
Yeah. So you're saying when you have meetings over teleconference with the home base in Australia, they're standing up via video conference, and so are you guys?
Yep.
That's great. Yep. A lot of great communication, it sounds like.
Yeah, we try.
And I'm sorry I'm doing you a disservice. I'm sitting down on the job. So
no, I am too. We're good. It's all right.
We'll have to redo this later and do the actual stand-up. Talk about like frequency. I mean, how does the stand-up, quick frequency meetings compare to if you didn't do it that way? Do you think your meetings would be double the length? How's that compare? What would life look like if you didn't do this?
Yeah, for sure. I think it definitely helps, not having to have, a 30-minute meeting later in the week, an hour meeting later in the week, things like that. So they're really meant to help a team be agile, and especially when teams are working in sprints and, projects and things like that, helps them to get things done, give quick updates, mention the accomplishments that's going on, mention any blockers that are coming up. And then really the team can make some quick decisions right there while they're, standing up on the most important topics. As far as frequency, you mentioned some of them are daily, some of them are weekly. So, you can really make that how you want. So depending on the project, they vary for us. I would say most are weekly. Right now we're doing a big campaign launch that'll be coming with, some big PR efforts behind it and some different integrated marketing tactics with sales and things like that. So we're actually standing up this project group daily. So, it's a 15-minute standing meeting every day where everybody on the team of 6 people right now goes through and gives their update for the day.
Love that efficiency. In terms of like lead up time or prep time for these meetings, Is there anything to that, or can people just say like, when you're in the office, like, can I go around and tap you and teammates on the shoulder and like, hey, I need a quick stand up, or is it like, hey, I need at least a day's notice and I need 3 agenda points on the meeting to justify it? How's that work?
Yeah. Typically they're scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we wouldn't. I mean, there's always those pop-ups, right? That you can come in and say, "Hey, let's go over here and stand up and have a meeting." But yeah, typically we try and schedule them and invite people to them. So marketing stand-ups every Wednesday at 10 a.m. or whatever it.
Okay, gotcha. So you mentioned a good point earlier. We're on the tail end of COVID-19 here in Kansas City, and coming out of all the stay-at-home orders and hopefully getting people back to work. There's obviously been some companies that come out like Twitter and say, you know, it's really up to employees if they want to come back to work indefinitely. If they want to work from home, that's fine. So I'm sure that'll have a trickle-down effect to some companies in Kansas City, and maybe there won't be as many people in the office. So since there's not the in-person stand-ups, is what else? What other type of tactics do you guys use to move the meeting along efficiently, even over some digital communications?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. So we have, I'm sure like everybody else, we're using Google Hangouts or Zoom or whatever to communicate. So we use Slack internally as a communication tool to stay in front of things, stay on top of things. But we've left the stand up scheduled on our end, and if we don't have anything important to cover, we'll cancel them. So if everybody kind of knows what's going on, and we'll give 15 minutes back in your day, that sort of thing. But yeah, we jump on a Google Hangout meeting. Everybody kind of goes around. We have the flow of the meeting. There's always a little rapport at the beginning, I guess, or kind of
Sure.
friendly chatter of what's the latest water cooler talk, I guess. But then we just kind of get right into it. It's been going well for us so far.
Good. You'd mentioned the workflow, or the blockers and some certain terminology like that. Can you walk us through those? I mean, it's like a certain, like 1, 2, 3, like biggest success for the last week, or biggest goal, things like that. What's that look like?
Yeah. So depending on the timing of them, it's usually, hey, what am I focused on either today or this week? So that's the first thing is, what am I focused on? What are my accomplishments? Then is typically blockers. So hey, here's a potential blocker for me. Does anybody have any helpful ideas, or do I need somebody's help? Like, hey, I need somebody to go carry out these few things so I can continue my work, that sort of thing. And then the next is the focus for the coming days or the coming week, depending on the length of the stand-up. So it's usually those 3 things. Try and make it like we call it like a Twitter update, like 1 to 2 minute Twitter update. So, somebody's not up there in the stand-up talking for 5 or 10 minutes because they're meant to be quick. 2 minutes, hit on those 3 points. And if there's anything else you got to tackle, mention those.
Yeah, it's a great concept, a great format.
Yep.
And I think for anyone listening, this can kind of sound like a elementary topic, but I think it can have a bigger impact. And I hope you can speak to that as far as like, how does this efficiency of meeting really affect your internal culture and workflow and all that?
Yeah, sure. That's a great point. I think it's really helped. Various things have come out of these things. I think some of the immediate benefits I think of are quicker decisions. Being able to act fast and work quickly towards a goal and adjust on the fly. So we're not having an hour meeting here and there or getting things in the way like that. Those still meetings do happen. They have to, but that helps. But lots of teamwork, lots of team building. I feel like the idea sharing has increased because people feel more free to share it when you're standing up, and it opens the lines of communication. It's not quite as formal, so people are more open to share ideas. And then it's helped around the office with like less flybys because someone's working on something, so you don't have to go run over to their desk to say, hey, can I ask you a few questions? And then that turns into a 15-minute, 20-minute conversation. So people can focus on their work, block off that time. And then I'd say one big thing is less micromanagement. So it's easier to nobody likes to be micromanaged, so to say. So it helps put if there's any pressure on the project and it's, the timeline or deadline, it kind of helps put the pressure on the process instead of the people. So it's like, okay, where are we at? How do we check in? Those things have kind of helped, elevate some of that as well.
Great. Thanks for your insights. And I'm sure it's important to keep moving efficiently, as you mentioned earlier, trying to be in that scale up mode and just continue growing. So I guess on that note, I mean, you're head of marketing and business development for all the Americas. So what are some books or resources or people that have influenced you, made an impact on you personally or professionally that have helped you in your success?
Yeah, for sure. Man, there's a lot. The two biggest people I would say are two of my previous manager and then my current manager, actually. So Faith Leonard, who I worked with at a company called Boston Software Systems for about 4.5 years. Really just a great leader, very organized, kind of taught me, how to, do various marketing tactics and explore your ROI and things like that. So she's one of my mentors. I still go to her for questions and ideas and things like that all the time. And then Bob Butler, actually our general manager of the Americas business here for SafetyCulture, has just been, a very positive individual. He's come stepped in as a leader. He gives great feedback. So, he's super positive, but is always there to say, hey, if we can do this better, let's try this next time, or things like that. He leads by example. It's just been great to be a part of the organization with him and have his direction and leadership and that sort of thing. So,
yeah, it's always great to have mentors in your life, no matter what stage of the game that you're in. It's always good to have people pouring into you and giving you advice and keeping you on track to where you want to go.
Yeah, for sure. Bob's it's been great. He's a great individual. He knows how to have fun, make things fun around the office, but at the same time, we're here to hit some goals and we want to grow and grow fast and grow big. So, everything from structuring meetings to how to structure your week to one-on-ones with your team. It's always great there. So, I think one of the recent books that comes across is called Radical Candor. So it's a book about just how to give feedback and how to truly care about somebody and give feedback in the moment about how to relay that constructively. So, it's so important to not wait, 2 weeks down the road to say, hey, 2 weeks ago you did this and it wasn't great. So you got to do it, be able to do it right then and in a positive manner. So people know that you care about them and it comes across as genuine. So it's been a really, really eye-opening book to be able to, kind of have some of those tough conversations sometimes that, you don't want to, because when you're giving it or even getting it, sometimes it can put you off a little bit, like, ooh, like, ouch. But sure. It's super important for us to grow as, leaders, to get feedback from our people, to go ask for it and seek it. But then also to give it to them and say, hey, like, this is great. This is what I like best about what you just did. And maybe this is something we could try next time. This is something we could tweak.
Yeah, that sounds like a great book. You're probably the second or third person that I've heard recommend that recently. So I'll link to it in the show notes for anyone that's listening or watching, and I'll definitely be checking that one out myself. Nick, where can people best get a hold of you if they want business or professional, or personal advice?
Yeah, sure. I'm on, LinkedIn, Twitter. So any of those work. I think it's open. So feel free to, shoot me an email. That sort of thing. We can exchange numbers, text, call, whatever. I'm open to learning more, helping people, sharing ideas, all that good stuff. It's great.
Good deal. I'll link some of your contact info in the show notes too for anyone who's interested in getting in contact with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick, really appreciate your time, and good luck to you moving forward.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yep. See ya.
Yeah.
That wraps up today's episode. We hope to have brought you some valuable key takeaways. Most importantly, whatever you learned, take action on it. Apply it to your life. Apply it to your career. Motivation and inspiration only come as a result of taking that first step. So if you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe on whichever platform you found the show. You can also follow us on all the major social media platforms or contact us directly at genwhyleaders@gmail.com. That's GENWHY leaders@gmail.com. Until next time, I'm Eric Huey, and thanks for listening to the Gen Y Leaders Podcast.